Very good morning to you and a warm welcome. This is Newsfeed AM. We begin here. The Public Service and Administration Department is finding itself in the Constitutional Court today for failing to uphold its commitment in the 2018 Public Sector Wage Bill. This after Nehawu and the police union Popcru and Sapu did not sign the recent wage agreement, which was entered into this past July, opting instead to seek recourse in court. Our senior politics reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo joins us live now from the Constitutional Court. Ziyanda, very good morning to you. So this could be one of those rulings. Of course, I'm talking about a ruling, but today it's the actual hearing. We're going to hear those arguments from the side of government and indeed from the side of the unions. At the center of the dispute is this 2018 leg of a three-year agreement that clearly was never complete. What has been government's justification for why it did not implement that last leg?
Well, Toli, the answer there is quite simple, that for the 2020-2021 financial year, there was the COVID-19 pandemic that hit, and it wasn't just the public sector wage bill that was impacted upon, but all facets of the fiscus were affected as a result of monies needing to be redirected as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the unions, however, on the other hand, maintain that it's always the public servants that bear the brunt of fiscus cutting or spending cutting, and also that they're the ones who are being punished, and yet they are not the ones, the workers, the nurses, the teachers, the police officers that are responsible for the corruption in the upper echelons of the government. And this is critically why then you have unions such as Nehawu going to the Constitutional Court to say, look, the Labour Court late last year only dismissed their application to actually say that the government cannot renege on their initial agreement. The Labour Court dismissed this application, saying that it was just simply too costly. In other words, they agreed with the government with regards to the cost implications. However, they still believe that the government has a duty to honor contractually so the agreement, and that's why Nehawu also didn't sign then, as a matter of principle, that recent July agreement where workers will see a 1.5 increase, and they'll also get 5,000 rand and 1,000 rand a monthly cash allowance. Toli?
Yeah, Ziyanda, if we remember correctly, the unions are saying the Constitutional Court is probably going to be one of the last options before they mount what I think they termed something that will bring the country to a standstill. Basically, the Constitutional Court, they're using it perhaps as one of the last options. And if not satisfied there, then they're going to go on strike. Is that indeed what they're threatening?
I'm not sure if I caught your question completely, Toli. I was struggling to hear you there. But I think what you're speaking about is the issue of direct access and whether or not the Constitutional Court actually has the jurisdiction to be even overseeing this matter. And as I suspect, Toli, that will be one of the first ports of call to say, well, actually, how is this even a constitutional matter? Remember, Toli, that when matters come to the Constitutional Court, there are about two factors that the ConCourt looks at. Is it in the interest of justice that it hears it on an urgent basis if the matter has been brought on an urgent basis? And also, has there been a fundamental impeding of a person or persons constitutional rights? And so this will then obviously then kick off the proceedings today then to actually hear from the likes of Nehawu as to why they believe in this matter. You left you went to the Labour Court, you went to the Labour Appeals Court, and now you're coming straight to the Constitutional Court to actually arbitrate over this matter. Also, Xoli, the hearings today, I think, from a political perspective, will form a precursor for the new round of negotiations that are expected to get underway now in September for the next 3 years. The arguments that are made and the judgment, if this court does actually grant them access, then will also set the tone then for these new rounds of negotiations, primarily because if they have the apex courts agreeing with them and their arguments, it will be very difficult for government then to also uphold their commitment to try and reduce then the government's debt, and the former finance minister was at some stage painting a lonesome figure when saying that in fact that's the place where he wants to cut spending, the public sector wage bill. So this is a very important case, Xoli, when you place it within that context.
Senior politics reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo live for us at the Constitutional Court. Thanks indeed for that update.